Let's take a moment to visualize this. Imagine a circle representing $1 million. Now expand that 10 million, 100 million, and eventually a billion. Then consider this: Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, holds wealth that's more than 100 times beyond even that billion-dollar circle. And then there's you. You're probably grinding through a job, maybe one you got after years of studying for a degree, a job that barely covers your bills. Maybe you're still a student, watching your future stack up more debt than savings. Rent is high, salaries feel low, and savings practically non-existent. Add in credit card debt or student loans, and wealth feels less like a goal and more like a fantasy. You scroll past headlines of millionaires and billionaires, especially the young ones, wondering how, somewhere deep down, you might have started to believe it's all rigged. They must have been born into it, cheated, gotten lucky. And you're just not one of the chosen. Those dreams of buying your parents a house, owning that car, traveling the world, they start to fade into background noise. But what if you're wrong? What if wealth isn't just luck or inheritance, but the result of a specific, repeatable process, a science? What if the way you've been taught to think about money by school, by movies, by family is what's keeping you stuck? Because here's the truth. Most of what we believe about money comes from our environment. If you grew up with scarcity, chances are you expect it to continue. And if your school never taught you how money really works, you're operating with a broken equation. Hollywood has conditioned many to see the rich as villains, cold, greedy, unethical. But the data tells a different story. A study by WealthX showed that 68% of people with a net worth of $30 million or more were self-made. Warren Buffett built it. Elon Musk built it. Oprah, born in poverty. Howard Schultz, same story. These aren't fairy tales. These are people who figured out how the system works and used it. So if you've stayed with me this far, you're already ahead of the curve. Because the game may be hard, but it's not unwinnable. You just need to unlearn the myths and start learning the method. Let's continue. The traditional equation you've been taught, that money equals salary earned from a job, is deeply flawed if your goal is true wealth, especially within a short span of time. From an early age, the system conditions you to study hard, get a degree, and land a job. And while that's a stable path, it's not the one that leads to financial freedom or generational wealth. The reason is simple: time. Time is your most valuable, irreplaceable resource. And when your income depends entirely on trading hours for dollars, there's a hard limit on how much you can earn. Let's put that in perspective. If you're earning $20 an hour and work 40 hours a week, it would take you nearly 24 years to earn your first million. And that's without accounting for taxes, living expenses, or inflation. You've spent 2 decades of your life for what amounts to modest wealth in today's terms. And by then, much of your time is gone. You've traded your most valuable asset for money, and you didn't even get much in return. So how is it that some people become millionaires, even billionaires, in their 20s or 30s? Are they smarter, more talented, born with advantages? Not always. What they have is a better equation. They understand that money follows perceived value, and in a capitalist society, perceived value is everything. You don't get paid for how hard you work. You get paid for how valuable your work appears to be to the market. And the market is made up of people like you, your friends, your family, your neighbors. This is why football players earn millions while janitors earn minimum wage. The football industry exists because people pay to watch games, buy merchandise, and fuel the demand. It is not that the player works harder than the janitor. It is that the market values their skill more. It's cold, but it's real. So if you want to increase your income, you must increase your value in the eyes of the market. But that doesn't mean you need to be famous or a genius. Here's the key insight: money follows problems. Every product or business you admire exists because it solves a problem. Amazon made shopping faster and cheaper. Uber solved the hassle of finding a ride. Airbnb solved expensive travel accommodations. These weren't random strokes of luck. They were solutions to problems that millions of people faced. If you want money, stop chasing it. Instead, chase problems, and more importantly, the solutions to them. Once you've identified a real problem people want solved, build something around it. That's how wealth is created. Now, you might be thinking, so I need to invent the next Amazon or Facebook to get rich? I don't know how to code. I don't have millions in funding. But stop right there. That's old thinking. You don't need to start with something huge. You just need to start with a problem. What frustrates the people around you? What do they wish existed? What would make their lives easier, cheaper, faster, better? The answers are all around you, if you're willing to listen. That's where real wealth begins. If you're fine with that reality, working a job just to pay the bills, letting time quietly slip by while dreams sit on a shelf, that's your choice. But if you're not okay with it, then it's time to act. Because the truth is, wealth was never the goal. Freedom was. Freedom from stress, from financial insecurity, from living a life dictated by a paycheck or someone else's schedule. That's what this whole journey has been about. The final piece of the equation to building wealth isn't about grinding harder, getting more degrees, or even taking bigger risks. It's about finding a scalable solution to a valuable problem. It's about making sure that your solution reaches as many people as possible, without being limited by your own time, location, or capacity. You do that by building systems, by automating and delegating, by turning a one-time effort into something that pays you again and again. You're not trying to create another job for yourself. You're trying to build an engine, one that runs with or without you, one that generates income while you sleep, travel, or spend time with people you love. And if you build it right, you have two options: keep it and enjoy the fruits of your labor, or sell it for a life-changing sum and walk away. Either way, you win. And when you do win, when you reach that point where you don't have to check your bank account before making a decision, you'll realize it was never about the zeros. It was about regaining control of your time, the most precious, finite resource you'll ever own. So ask yourself, is the life you're living today worth the time you're trading for it? Or is it time to change the equation? Because once you stop chasing money and start chasing problems worth solving, everything changes. That's the real path to wealth, freedom, and the life you've always dreamed of. Let's begin with a simple circle. Imagine it represents $1 million. Now multiply that by 10, then 100 million, and finally, 1 billion. That's the scale we're working with. Jeff Bezos alone holds over 117 times that final circle. And then, there's you. You probably work a job, maybe one you got after years of university, only to discover your paycheck barely covers your rent, savings minimal, debt crushing, dreams of wealth slipping further away. And yet, the world is filled with self-made millionaires. Young, ambitious, some no different from you. How did they do it? Were they just lucky? Born into privilege? Cheating the system? You've been told it's a rigged game, that you're on the losing side. But what if that's not true? What if wealth isn't a dream, but an equation, one with real variables, one you were never taught, not in school, not at home? This video isn't about motivation, it's about strategy. Because the system isn't broken. You were simply handed the wrong playbook, the conventional equation. Money equals hours worked times hourly rate. But this equation fails one critical test: time. Time is your most limited resource. And if your income is tied to time, then so is your potential. At $20 hour, even working full-time for 24 years won't net you $1 million. And that's before taxes, inflation, or emergencies. So ask yourself, how do young entrepreneurs build wealth while others stay trapped? They use a different formula. The real equation. Wealth equals problems solved times scalability. Let that sink in. Solve problems and make those solutions scalable. Amazon didn't chase money. It solved the inconvenience of physical shopping. Netflix solved the pain of late fees and cable packages. Tesla solved inefficiencies in the car industry. If it solves $1 million problem, you earn millions. If it solves $1 billion problem, you earn billions. So stop chasing income, chase problems. But I can't build Amazon. You don't need to. Start small. Look around. What frustrates people? What takes up their time? What are they constantly complaining about? Now, can you offer a solution? Can it scale? Can it operate without you present every second? That's the key. Don't build another job. Build a machine. Something that runs while you sleep. Courses, software, marketplaces, media, products that require your input once and pay you forever. Eventually, the path forks: scale and exit, or scale and keep, sell your company, or keep running it with automation and systems. Either way, you've earned something bigger than money: freedom. Not the freedom to retire early, the freedom to choose how you live your entire life. Here's the hard truth: most people won't make it. They'll quit when things get tough. They'll chase fast money instead of real opportunity. They'll mistake comfort for success. But you now understand the real game. The rules aren't secret. They're just hidden in plain sight. Solve problems. Build solutions. Make them scalable. That's the equation. And if you do it right, you'll never need to worry about money again. If this video shifted your thinking, don't forget to like it so others can find it. And if you're serious about building real freedom, subscribe for more deep dives on how money really works. Until next time, keep solving.